Okay, thank you for staying with us. And yeah, one presentation to go before lunch to round up this idea of ecosystem and the principles, how we want to grow that. So building on those three stories that were shared with you, how do we go to the next step? And of course, one important thing to take home for you is that the data and the services that you see now in the Copernicus data space is of course the very important starting point, yeah, with all the free and open Sentinel data. However, it's not where we want to stop. Yeah, it is really about the next, say, generation of new additional data sets, new services to be added, other approaches like we have seen for the example for Africa to fine-tune the use of the data also to a specific community. And we know that this is also very relevant for some scientific communities where also maybe other approaches are needed in terms of high performance computing to do very detailed analytics, or like we have heard from Grega in the previous presentations, to address the new opportunities given by AI models to work on this. So that is really our objective for the ecosystem to grow. And for that, we are simply, even as a service team, we see ourselves as the enablers. Yeah? We are not the ones that will be able to do everything for everyone. So one of the clear objectives for us is also to make it very easy and simple to join the ecosystem. An onboarding that you can basically do by self-registration on the webpage. Maybe some of you have already seen the tools. We will come back to that later. And for those that might first want to discover and also challenge us and see what could be done within the ecosystem with already the elements that have been available or are being made available, like we have seen now these new services, also to challenge us and to maybe share some of your business ideas or technical approaches that you want to implement for your particular success. So that will be support options that we offer, maybe even in some ways under NDA if needed. All is possible, because we also see us there as in a responsibility to make you successful with any of these ventures. So we're inviting everyone, and I really mean everyone, not just from maybe this audience today, but from all the areas, from science, public entities, businesses and startups. I've been working now already in the Copernicus program for more than 15 years, and having seen the development over that time, even from very small startups growing very big. We have some examples here in the room, like Synergize, tremendous experience. And I believe we have this expertise in Europe with the very good, excellent universities and geo information experts coming from there. The ecosystems that have been established there, I think that is what we can use, and that is where we excel in Europe to bring this together. So to do that in a way that it's really successful, we know as a large IT company that it's also important to be able to follow standards. And standards help you to create success quickly and also sustainability, so that you may not run into one direction, which sounds maybe very promising, but at the end nobody may buy into it because it's difficult to adapt to. Or maybe not sustainable over the time. So that is also what we will try to help and support, is to understand these standards and how you can make use of them. And one very important element is that in that approach is federation of services, which I will talk on the next slide. And as a last important point to take home, really to understand that the data space, as mentioned before, is a international standard already by itself, which really fosters transparency amongst data providers, data owners, data users, and enables really a fair and secure exchange of data and the services running on those data between different parties, either it be scientific parties, business partners, or public entities. So this is what we want to extend to the Earth observation community. And let's look into some of the elements of that federation. What does federation actually mean? Well, I think there are a lot of definitions of federation. You know, federations of states, and we used to have a federal republic of Germany. So that is another part of federation, but federation in the IT world means interoperability, basically. Interoperability of services across platforms by agreeing on those standards, how you interwork, and that everybody can rely that this is not by accident or by the preference of one single company changing from one day to the next. And we all know the disadvantages of proprietary software and things changing without you being able to control it. We get surprises every day from that, right? So this is very important element, federation in the IT world, to use this. And that is possible, of course, with the building blocks that we and others already established in the past, and what we are trying to foster also with the development of the Copernicus ecosystem. And I name just two that have been also mentioned several times today. I think OpenEO is a perfect example of how not just one company has developed a software that can be used basically on any platform. It's agnostic, but also it allows you to connect platforms if data is maybe spread, not just in one place, but over multiple platforms, and then still to process it with one, say, open source, open framework. That's the power of OpenEO. And we will show, of course, several examples of that, of the work that we are doing ourselves with this platform. And I think in first instance, the Vito team. But they will share this, and they will share how it is being done and how others can also directly benefit from this experience. And the same is with Stack. Like what was mentioned by Cloud Pharaoh, they are really committed to further develop Stack to become the data federation element, yeah, for the future. So that if data is also, again, in different platforms, through the Stack interfaces, through this very generic cataloging system, you will be able to use the data across platforms in a very easy to understand way without having to search for, again, proprietary definitions and understand them. All of that sharing is sometimes difficult because of our identities. We all know how that is today in the internet. We have to go into different systems every day, log in, generate a password, but even worse, most of the time when you register for the first time, you have to give a lot of data to a certain provider, and sometimes you don't even know what the data is actually used for. But we trust, we trust on the regulations, the data privacy regulations, that it's not misused. But still, we have to provide our data to all kinds of platforms, that we can use them and that we can maybe also then start sharing between those platforms. And that is something where we, I think, all want to get rid of. And actually a lot of work was done on the World Wide Web Consortium to find new ways how to manage identities in the internet. And one of the solutions, I think, that's being established more and more, and not only by industry, by the Gaia X movement in Europe, but this now also has been endorsed by the European Commission by setting up the Simple framework, is to start using self-sovereign identities in the future. And what that means in short is that actually we decide what we share with others, and we keep our data. And in the moment where we want to use a platform, we will only say, yes, you are now allowed to use part of my data, because otherwise I will not get access, of course. And that provider will then be able to verify that data that you have given access to with a so-called trust service. So he will be able to verify, yes, it's Jurry, yes, Jurry is working with T-Systems, and yes, Jurry is able to access this service. And that will remove a lot of the burdens of being able to work in different platforms, because you will not have to register anymore into all those different platforms. You will simply be able to go there as a person with your data and say what data you will be needed to verify that you give access to that verification process. So with a simple framework, the EU is also intending to start using that for all common data spaces, not just, of course, Earth observation, energy, health, agriculture. And that offers, of course, another range of opportunities, because it will mean that Copernicus data will be also much more easy to combine with other agriculture data, with other health data, with other maybe interesting data, without having the hassle of registering again in multiple platforms. So you have seen already from the previous presentations, federation is not new. Federation is already around in the IT world since several years, and we are, of course, now doing federations already based on established standards. And some of the things you have seen from the presentations from GeoVille, from EODC, and from Atos are exactly using these different APIs and standards that we have already established. And that is the way we want to go. So extend it into those new interoperability functions going forward, and making it very easy, not only to join the ecosystem for Copernicus, but then, of course, to also use it with others. So as a last slide then, how to join. Maybe some of you have already discovered, we have on the webpage, we have the entry page to basically push a button and then go to a small registration form to say, yes, I am really interested and I want to join. And then we try to keep also here, it's very short what it needs to be filled out. We are in the moment of publishing a more extensive documentation of what it will mean for you, what rights you will have, what obligations we will have towards you when you join the ecosystem. That's in the final instance of being synchronized with the ESA feedback and the Commission feedback that we have received. And when we will publish that, you will see then really exactly what is the, say, if I become a member of this ecosystem, what is what are my options, and of course also how do I have to behave to be accepted in that community, because we want to make it fair for everyone. So this is a function that we originally already wanted to start much earlier. So a bit of apology there as well that this was delayed, because we know we already have a whole range of requests from different public entities and from different businesses that were very interesting. But as you have seen, we have had to roll out so many functions, take care of the operations, which of course still has the priority that everybody can access the data every day in the same quality, so that only now we have the time to really focus at growing step by step the ecosystem and provide you with this easy onboarding functions. And you can see here on the slide there are some few but good criteria. I hope that we really get those organizations and those users into the ecosystem that will benefit everybody else. So of course things like that you should come there to really use, of course, the data and the services, not only contributing something completely different, but yes, Google is also welcome. And that, of course, your service that you would contribute to the ecosystem will also be an open service, so open to access for users. But how, that will be completely your responsibility to manage that, as we have seen from the Dunia example. Yeah, so it can be a complete own web page with its own registration terms and conditions. And of course that these services, when they are commercial, that it's also clear to the rest of the community, okay, what does that mean then for a potential user? Is there a public price list? What are the services that are available, or what is maybe an SLA that somebody can rely on when you really provide that as a commercial service to the rest of the world? So with that, I hope this is for you a good moment to think about it if you want to join, and we have a short poll on that. So going up to the lunch, but maybe even during lunch, think if you would think this is a good idea for the next months to join the ecosystem, either with a new data set, with a new algorithm, or other ideas. Very much welcome, and we promise that for the next months we will be really giving quick feedback and are available for discussing your idea and how to implement it. Then with this, thank you for this very interesting morning and all the Q&A that we received. And I think now is a good time for a short break up to the lunch, or if you have any questions, of course, still we can cover some of them in the next minutes. Thank you for your attention.